Right, so we're just going to go through a few of the settings that you'll find in DDX. We're going to open up the file importer, and on the left hand side at the bottom you'll see loaded configurations, and it's currently set up for aluminium. So we'll click on the configuration. It's already pre-selected, so we'll stick with ALU, confirm, and we're going to look at general in this settings window. Okay, you'll see on the right hand side automatic cam. So which automatic cam library will we use? And we're going to use the ALU. And you can see here you can select, if you're setting up a new material, you will need to select the appropriate tooling database for it. So this one's set up for ALU. Disposition offset X and Y. You've got 100 and 50 mil. Now this is just for a little test I was running. This places your material bottom left hand corner at 100x and 50y. You may need to move your sheet for whatever reasons. If you wanted to cut a second sheet further down the bed, you would put this 3000 millimeters, 3 meters down the bed for this one particular nest, or you may just want to set it to 0, which is your traditional offset values. Generation path. That's going to save all programs, all your PGMs, and all the files created through this in my C drive in folder 001 underscore XCAM. Equally, you could put this on a server so the machine and other operators could access these files as well. Default piece thickness, 3 mil. So every time I open up my file importer and my material is selected, my most favorable material is already selected. So it just saves a little click or two. So on the file importer window, you'll see 3 mil as opposed to a 5 mil or a 6 mil, whatever the thickness of material you have in there. And this one can be set per individual materials. Import type. You can see here, normally it's on always ask, but it depends on where you're getting your programs from. So if I'm creating these, I'll have it on layer. So as soon as the parts come in, it will look at the layers and it will automatically bring it in. Normally it will ask you, how do you want to bring it in? Under color, under auto, or layers, or if there's something wrong, it will also tell you. If there is something wrong, it will always ask. You can say always keep or always ask. So I would always ask so I can see what is going on with my drawings. Right, moving on to the next option, which is nesting. The top one, curve type, set automatic. Now, that is the tool diameter. And this is the spacing that all parts will be nested. So if you're using a 6mm tool, the parts will be nested 6mm apart, 4mm, 4mm apart. If you're using the saw, probably be 3.2mm apart. You can then swap it to manual if you wish, and then put a manual curve in. So if your parts are too small, for example, you want to have a bit more room in between them to give them a better chance of staying where they are and surviving the cut, you may want to have a different value in. But traditionally, we set it on automatic. Automatic nesting. So yes, we do. So when we press generate, we don't have to do anything manually. It will always automatically nest the parts. Enable nesting optimization. Again, yes, so it gives us the best yield for your material. Piece rotation. So if we have that selected, the part will rotate. You can also do that in the file importer, where you can tell it, yes, I do want to rotate my parts. The reason why you may not want to rotate your parts is if there is a grain or anything, a particular feature on the cassette itself, on the material. Piece rotation steps. This is set at 90 degrees. So it can be any degrees you wish, but 90 degrees, if you're cutting square panels, traditionally you can rotate them in increments of 90 degrees to give you the best yield. Category, aluminium. So for aluminium, the category is aluminium. So whereas in general, the database, the tools database was set at ALU, this is looking at your materials. Which type of material is this going to cut? So it's set to value. Again, you can check any other one if you wish. Scrap cut. If I have a scrap cut, that means the end of the sheet will be cut off with my scrap tool. And we can store the scrap. So if we want to store the scrap and use it in our library, we can do. Start nesting angle. Now, I've set mine at top right, where traditionally it's set at bottom left, and this is where all the parts are placed on the sheet. With the top right, you'll find two advantages. One is the part is towards the center of the sheet, the MDF bed, so the vacuum hold will be a lot stronger, as the outside of the MDF bed is always a little bit weaker than it is in the center. Also, you will save cutting your sacrificial in the same place over and over again, so it can prolong your MDF bed before it needs replacing. Moving on to layer definition, this is just the list of all the layers that you can import into DDX along with the colors. So for each, for blind hole, say orange, through pass hole, pass through hole is yellow, etc. Going straight down to elaborate path, and this is where we make the decision what tool is going to be used. We can have it on just router, or we can have it on router and saw blade. So we can do this choice for both the contouring and the V-groove. We can also set a value for the router to be used. So if there's anything less than 100 mil, the router will be used. Anything less than 10 for the grooving, the router will be used. And lastly, going down to CSV, this is just where we use set the delimiter for a CSV. So you may have in the semicolon, you need a comma. Okay, and that's about it. Thank you.